Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
I got a note the other day from Scott Bullock at the Institute for Justice. Institute for Justice, of course, is an organization that fights for constitutional rights in America on behalf of people who've had their rights trampled. And he says, Steve, yesterday, the Associated Press published a blockbuster investigation that reveals for the first time how the U.S. Border Patrol and other federal law enforcement agencies are using an extensive network of license plate reader cameras to monitor the travel of millions of Americans, then asking law enforcement, local law enforcement, to stop those travelers based on what the agencies consider suspicious travel patterns. Suspicious travel patterns. The mass surveillance, which has become far, far removed from the simple border enforcement, would not have come to light without IGA's case representing an innocent motorist named Alec shot and the information that they've uncovered while fighting for his rights. The story about Alec is he was driving home to Houston on a work trip when a county sheriff's deputy pulled him over for drifting between lanes. Now, he's got a dash cam on his truck that shows that he didn't do that. But the deputy aggressively interrogated him, and when he wouldn't consent to a search of his truck, the deputy called in a drug-sniffing dog, which they say alerted. The dog alerted. Now, there were no drugs in the vehicle. Deputies tore through his truck, found nothing, and then sent him home with thousands of dollars of damage to his vehicle. And I've mentioned this before, a lot of people didn't realize this, is that if they search your house, or they search your home, they don't just open up doors and look inside and go, oh, I don't see anything. They'll tear stuff apart looking for stuff. And if they don't find it, they go, well, we were just looking for something, we didn't find it. So when the IJ took this case, they knew it was going to be an important challenge to the many illegal stops where officers fish for cash to seize based on hunches. But as the IG attorney representing Alec told the AP, what we found is something much larger, a system of mass surveillance that threatens people's freedom of movement. Border Patrol agents had tracked Alec as he drove to a hotel 80 miles from the border, tracked him the next day as he met with a client, and then tracked him as he drove home. They then passed that information to local deputies. And what's happening is this. There are networks, of course, of automated license plate readers, many hidden in innocuous places along the highway. They take photos of license plates and sometimes drivers' faces as you go about your daily life. An algorithm uses that data to determine what law enforcement calls patterns of life. The algorithm then flags anomalies, things as common as driving on a back road or making a quick trip to a town near the border, which officers then pass to law enforcement, often informally through things like WhatsApp messages. Local officers find or make up pretexts to stop the cars flagged by the feds. As detailed in the article, those stops can lead to searches, the seizure and forfeiture of cash or vehicles, and arrests of innocent people. The AP characterizes the agency's surveillance role as akin to a domestic intelligence operation. Once limited to policing the nation's boundaries, Border Patrol has built a surveillance system stretching into the country's interior that can monitor ordinary Americans' daily actions and connections for anomalies instead of simply targeting wanted suspects. We've talked about this before, about how Border Patrol says, well, we don't just watch the border, because the border is a line, and if you took geometry in school, you know a line is very, very, very narrow. Very, very narrow. So if you live near a border, Border Patrol says, well, we are allowed to operate inside the border also because, Border Patrol. And so if you live in Michigan like I do, and you go to Detroit, well, right across the river, the Detroit River, Windsor, Canada. So if you're in Detroit, you're near the border. And I go to Detroit quite a bit. I see shows down there all the time. And likewise, if you run over to Port Huron, well, Sarnia is right across the river. Or you go to the Sault Ste. Marie, right across the river, Sault Ste. Marie. There, it's the same name on both sides. One side's Canada, one side's the U.S. So the key that enabled the Institute for Justice and the AP reporters to tie Alec's Stop the Border Patrol surveillance system was a WhatsApp chat with federal agents and the deputy who stopped Alec. The deputy deleted the chat from his phone, but with the help of a forensic technician, IJ was able to recover the messages. They are part of the case's public record because IJ successfully fought the government's attempt to keep everything secret at the start of the case. Think about that. Law enforcement agencies are communicating as they do their jobs, And then when asked, can we see those communications? Oh, no, we deleted them. Oh, okay. So the article published by the AP focuses on the Border Patrol and related agencies. This type of mass surveillance has grown to encompass all levels of law enforcement in America. More than 6,000 cities nationwide use automated license plate reader cameras, often combined with increasingly powerful artificial intelligence. That means that whether you are driving on a highway or just through your hometown, there's a good chance the government is tracking your movements. IJ is fighting back against warrantless surveillance and demanding that constitutional standards be followed through cases like Alec's, the lawsuit they also have in Norfolk, Virginia, there where they use license plate readers to track drivers, and also recently launched a plate privacy project, IJ did, where they're challenging the government's arbitrary power to surveil the entire driving public. Because everybody's under surveillance now. You get surveilled. You get surveilled. Millions of Americans will soon take the nation's roads and highways to celebrate Thanksgiving with their loved ones. Many of those Americans will be caught in the surveillance dragnet. Their movements uploaded to databases that law enforcement of all kinds can access with little to no judicial oversight. So you're driving someplace you don't normally drive because you're going to your relatives who you see once a year. Ooh, something unusual about their driving pattern. They've never done that before. Well, at least not in recent memory. So Scott ends by saying this is not the America we want. It's not the America our founders envisioned when they wrote into the Bill of Rights the right to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizures. So Scott would like to thank you for the support that enables the IJ to take on these big fights that expose even bigger fights against threats to our Constitution. So Scott Bullock is the president and chief counsel at the Institute for Justice. I attended one of their retreats a couple of years ago, and I spent time with Scott and other attorneys and other people on their staff there. They're wonderful people, but they are fighting the good fight. And what they're doing by taking on cases like Alec's is litigation that can be expensive and that more often than not involves so much hassle that a lot of attorneys wouldn't take these cases and a lot of litigants wouldn't want to pursue them. But when somebody's got a really, really good case like this and it's extremely important in the big picture, the Institute for Justice will get involved. So I got to tell you, the Institute for Justice is a non-profit organization. They exist solely through the generosity of people who support them. I urge you to support them. Now, if you can support them financially, that's great. If you can't support them financially, support them with moral support, meaning that go to their website, bookmark their website, visit their website, read what they put up. If nothing else, educate yourself. Tell your friends. Pass the stories along to other people. But you can also sign up for their newsletter. And the press release I just read to you from is a newsletter that got sent out. A lot of people have sent this to me and said, Steve, have you seen the most recent story from the IJ? Yes, I have. Thank you very much. But please, always tip me off to anything you think you see that I should know about. But I, of course, subscribe to their newsletter as well. And so they are doing great work. Many of their cases are fantastic and important, and nobody else would be doing this if not for them. So I can't sing their praises loud enough, but I would encourage you to support them financially, morally, whatever it might be. But if nothing else, go to ij.org, just ij.org, and bookmark the page, visit it, subscribe to their newsletter, and if you can, financial support's good too. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. The river Visa, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side.